Alrighty. So today for my RLO project, I'm going to be presenting catching in baseball, the change to a one knee down stance to help steal strikes. So for my learning objectives, upon the completion of this reusable learning object, both coaches and players should be able to implement these changes with their catcher's stance while understanding that different stances work for different people. Uh, while I am advocating for the one knee down stance, as pretty much every MLB catcher is using it now, uh, there's just different versions of it that work for different people, and you see that in the MLB with them all using different stances themselves. And then second, to evaluate the success or necessity of other changes in the game of baseball. Uh, you can see with certain innovations that have come in, such as the one knee down stance, there's other innovations that need to happen to either combat this or make different changes in the game. So here, starting catching in a one knee down stance. One of the main goals of the catcher is to try to make as many pitches as possible look like strikes. This is an innovation that was perceived as new by most of the older players, and early adopters differ from later adopters of the stance as this has become kind of mainstream now in baseball. You see catchers finding what works for them, whether it's as you can see in the picture on the bottom, with the right knee down and the left knee up. You'll see some guys shoot that left knee all the way out with their foot basically off the ground, just the heel being on the ground. It's basically kind of finding what works for you, and that's different for all different people. So here in old catching, as I said, the one knee down stance is a newer concept. And if you talk to older catchers, some of them don't like it. They think it's, I don't know, a little less gritty or just it looks like people are being lazy. But, and that's mostly because the old catchers that did this traditional squat, it's seen at least as allowing you to block baseballs easier and keep balls from going to the backstop. But in this time for baseball, less emphasis was placed on stealing strikes for the pitcher. So trying to make balls look like strikes just wasn't seen as needed. And I don't think it was with the way umpires called games. But with all this new technology and umpires get graded on calling balls and strikes much harsher than they used to. So catchers now have to make everything look like a strike, or it will be called a ball every time, which was not the case before. Here are some pictures of kind of old catching with the two knees up, just a traditional squat, seen as you're a little more mobile and can block and typically throw better, but cannot get as many strikes. Moving to catching today, uh, as I was saying, the huge increased emphasis on making balls look like strikes. And to do this, an innovation was needed. So here, when talking about the diffusion of different innovations, in deciding whether or not to adopt an innovation, individuals depend mainly on the communicated experience of others, much like themselves, who have already adopted a new idea. So now pretty much all 30 catchers in the MLB are using this one knee stance rather than the two. And just over the last few years, you've kind of seen this transition. But now that the one knee is adopted, that there's still further to go. Um, whether it's left knee, right knee, or with the leg out, what is most comfortable for certain people. And you can still see that just the adopting of which version of this stance is helping certain players the most and what could help others more. I'll show a couple pictures here. You can see the left knee down first, then right knee down with the leg out, and then left knee down with the leg out. These are just different versions of the same thing that all of it is to help get more strikes, and that's typically strikes either outside, inside, or below the zone. And this obviously you can get a little bit lower on one knee and present balls better to the umpire, which you'll see in the video coming up. So an innovation that might be coming here in the near future to combat this one knee down is robot umpires, or just the automated strike zone. So kind of as technology continues to improve, Major League Baseball, it's looking like they're going to try to combat this style of catching. The automated strike zone, in pretty much real time, as the pitch crosses home plate, they can tell where it crossed the plate. So whether it was a strike or a ball, they can relay that to an umpire on the field who could call strikes and balls in essentially real time. But this can really only be used in places that can afford this technology, which is not cheap. So mostly just pro stadiums and maybe top end college stadiums would have this ability, but it's not really feasible for anybody below that. However, certain innovations like this will continue to develop, and you'll see just other things be used in the baseball world. So first, we're going to watch this video that just talks a little bit about different versions of receiving.
Hey guys, Ryan here. Today I want to talk about what view we're giving the umpire and how we're going to steal strikes by giving them a better view of home plate. I catch from a knee every pitch of the game now, and when I'm considering which knee to catch off of, we need to start considering what the umpire can see behind us. If I'm on this side of the plate, typically I want my shoulders to be angled back towards home plate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get on this knee to show home plate. But if you start to think about what the umpire can see behind me, if it's a right-handed hitter, I might want to get on this knee because he's going to set up on this side of me. Umpires are trained to be between the catcher and the hitter. So if he's on this side, I want to have this knee down so he can see over my shoulder for that pitch. But if it's a left-handed hitter, I'm good to be on this knee because the umpire's on this side. Now he has a better view of home plate. Same goes on the other side. If it's a right-handed hitter and I'm on the outside half, it really doesn't matter what knee I'm on, he's going to have a good view because he's over here. But on a left-handed hitter on that inside, if the umpire's on this side, and I'm on this knee, this shoulder's high, he's got a lot of body. If I go down to this right knee and he can see over my shoulder there, we're going to steal more strikes. I filmed a couple of examples so you can see what it looks like from the umpire's point of view when I'm set up on the same part of home plate with the same pitches coming in off the machine. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Can you tell the difference between when I'm on my right knee and my left knee, what the umpire's view is of that pitch coming in? Which setup are you going to get more strikes from? If you like this video and you want to get more baseball content, subscribe below, enter your email.
So as you can see, at least for Ryan, he does a little bit with both, whether it's the right knee down or the left knee down throughout the game. He's comfortable in both and does whatever he thinks helps present the most strikes to the umpire behind him. Now I'm going to watch another video. We can watch another video here, just talking about some do's and don'ts of the one knee stance.
A retired Florida couple won 7.
Today, we're going to work on the do's and don'ts of having your glove side knee down. Welcome to the Catcher's U YouTube channel. I'm Coach Jack. On this channel, we do drills that you take home and product reviews of the catching position. If you go out and watch a game on TV or go to your local field, you're going to start seeing more and more catchers catch with one knee down on the ground. Today, I want to talk about what we should be doing if we're going to go to this stance versus what we should not be doing. The number one reason that the glove side knee is the side that's down is that is usually what gives us the most range and makes it easy for us to work from the ground up while receiving. So 3 do's when you're in your glove side knee down are as follows. 1 do, make sure, number 1, make sure we maintain good posture. We want our chest out, and we want to make sure that our spine stays straight so that we can work with our glove out in front. which leads us into number 2. Make sure our target is out in front of our eyes. We do not want to have our target underneath our chin. We want to make sure, even though we're on one knee, our target's still out in front. And 3, make sure our ankle is in the ground and behind our knee. We want to make sure that we're in a good athletic position that will maximize our range and allow us to maintain our athleticism while receiving. Now, here are the 3 don'ts. First don't. Do not let our leg get outside of our knee. This will cause us to lose posture to work over top of the ball. So even though I'm down, I'm going to now be over, and now I'm going to push through balls versus being able to work underneath the baseball. The second don't is make sure that our right knee does not get out in front of our left knee. So we never want our glove side knee behind our right knee. This is going to cause our shoulder to work behind our knee, creating blockage and taking away from our range to the ball. And then finally, we don't let our heel off the ground. So when I'm in this position, I don't want my heel off the ground, so that, again, this will lead to bad posture and inconsistency in my stance and will take away from my side-to-side lateral range. I hope this video helped. If you liked what you heard,
So right there, just a few tips for at least with the left knee down. Just things that help receiving and getting that low strike especially, which a lot of players, which is why they prefer that left knee down. So continuing on, just create a stance. There's many different types of one knee down stances that work for all different types of catchers, different pro guys. Some like the right knee down, some like left. As Ryan said, some prefer the right knee down when they're on one side of the plate, left on the other. You just have to make sure that the other team can't see you doing this before the game starts or before each pitch. Make it work for you. Some are more advantageous for throwing to bases, some are better for blocking, and some are better for the general receiving of pitches. There are some catchers that can do all 3 from just one stance, like that left knee down. And there's others that they prefer receiving with the left knee down, but as soon as runners get on base, they switch to the right knee down because they think they can throw better and move to block balls better behind the plate. So teaching one knee down stance, just you got to understand that some stances and positions are not going to be comfortable for all players. And you got to individualize what works for each player under the general framework of stealing strikes. So if you're out coaching, a group catching lesson or coaching your catcher, it's important to understand just that some guys will work better from the left knee down and others will work better from the right. The most successful stance for a catcher in today's game is the one that they can use to present the most strikes, but still completing the other jobs of a catcher, throwing and blocking. And just know that it's different for different players. So some homework, watch a Major League Baseball game and just study the different stances that the 2 catchers use throughout the game. You might see them go into the old traditional stance with 2 just in the squat position a couple times, but for the most part, they'll be on either their right or left knee. And just kind of watch if they switch their stance throughout the game. Runners on base, 2 strikes, or just any weird scenario that they may go to the old stance. And then consider using some of these stances in your game or in your athlete's game. See what works best for them. And then some questions to go over. Think about after, using this RLO, how has this exercise shaped your opinion on catching in baseball? How has this exercise shaped your opinion on future changes in the game of baseball? And then, are any other innovations necessary in baseball to continue progressing the sport, such as robot umpires, automated strike zone, or anything else that might change? Like they're considering using a double base at first base to prevent injuries. So in summary, almost all starting major league catchers at this point have made the transition to the one knee down stance. and there are fundamental changes to the game that are necessary to keep up with other innovations in the game of baseball. Thank you all for watching. Hope this RLO can help you.